Hi guys, you're welcome to PCE Studios. We have the privilege and the honor to have a very great man here tonight. A man that has traveled far and wide. A man that you're going to be learning a lot from. I tell you, this is going to be a very interesting session. My name is Mabel Charles Edobor. You're welcome, guys. You're welcome. Just feel relaxed, feel at home. You're going to enjoy this session, I promise you. So, we have the honor and the privilege to have with us Dr. Festus Edobor. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank you
welcome,
for
sir.
having me.
Yes, sir. It's such a great honor. Looking at your schedule, I know you're a very busy person. Having you in the studio is such a great honor for us. We are so happy that you're able to make it, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. So we are going to be having some interesting talk. This is an interactive session. We're just going to have fun as we bless people, trusting God that whatever stories we'll be telling here and whatever answers we'll be giving to questions, that people are going to be blessed. So tonight, what am I saying tonight? This afternoon, rather, guys, we are going to be having Dr. Festus teach us wisdom. Prepare yourself, wisdom. And this is a man that has achieved a lot. I tell you guys, he's one of the most humble person I've ever met. He's achieved a lot academically, financially. He's traveled far, I tell you guys. So just keep your mind as you learn this day. All right, so Dr. Festus, looking at your person, I've heard you tell stories of how you were growing up in the village and things were not so rosy for you. Village boy, let me put it like that. So the point where you are now that you can travel to any part of the world. Can you just give us an introduction?
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you once again.
Yes, sir, you're welcome.
Like you just said, I'm actually a village boy. I grew up with my parents and from Nigeria and Edo State to be specific.
All right.
And my parents were farmers.
Wow.
Yeah, we were farmers. And that is what we do. Growing up, we didn't know any other thing apart from farming. And we were privileged to go to the primary school like every other kid. But it was at that time, it was not easy because most of the time, your parents want you to go to the farm. Especially there are some seasons, especially during the planting season, it's a lot of work. They don't want you to go to school. So you have no choice than to go to the farm. Growing up, we didn't know that there is a better life out there. Yeah. We didn't know there is a better life. We just thought it's all about farming, and that was it. So we had that kind of life at the early stage while growing up. And by the grace of God, we were able to finish our primary school. And with that kind of life, then there was no light in the village, there was no water. You have to go to the river in the morning, you come back, then you go to school, you come back from school, you go to the farm. And that was the life. And to add to that, there was no secondary school in my village at the time. There was no secondary school. Believed that we were going to be professional farmers. That was going to be our career. And as God will have it, at some point they brought a secondary school. And there was a governor then, Professor Ambrose Ali, who brought a secondary school, and the guy was just planting schools around the whole region. About 5 villages were kind of contested to have that secondary school, but my village had it. So the secondary school was in my village at the time. So other villages, they were coming with bicycle. Some will walk down and come to study in my village. And that was how I was privileged to attend a secondary school.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and while in secondary school, it was still the same story. We're not really sure of the direction where we're going to, but we're just studying like every other child. Yeah. and we finished the secondary school, and there was no result.
What do you mean by there was no result?
My result was heard
Okay.
by the awarding body, West Africa Examination
Okay,
Council, EYEC. Yes, my result was heard, and
You passed too much. Sorry to interrupt you. Did you overpass?
I didn't even know what happened.
Okay.
I didn't know what happened.
Okay,
Well, I have to sit again for my GCSE.
Oh my God.
That is another story of
know,
its
I
own.
know.
Yes, because I shared my career path sometimes ago, how my result was seized or and all that.
Yes, sir.
So eventually I got my O-level result.
Wow.
Then now started writing university jam.
Hmm.
And it was very tough. I think I wrote jam up to about 5 to 6 times
What?
before I eventually got admission to study in the university. And as a young child, growing up then, everybody wanted to be a doctor. We wanted to be medical doctors.
Yeah.
So eventually we could not study medicine, but we still thank God. God was directing our path.
Amen.
At that age, we're not sure where we're going. We just wanted to study, get a good job, and all that. But at some point, you begin to understand the direction. You begin to understand the direction. I think it's a thing of destiny. Let me put it that way.
Wow.
It's a thing of destiny. It was after secondary school, we begin to have a clearer picture what we're going to study and all that. Got admission into the university, and that was how far we've gone.
Wow. Whew. Guys, are you still here? Oh my God, this is such a very interesting story. You know, when people see you now, they just feel that maybe you fell from up
Not at
and
all.
a miracle came,
Not at all.
not knowing that you've had your ups and downs.
It's been interesting. Let me put it that way. I think it's the grace of God. And I thank God for people I've always been around with. I think that is my greatest testimony. I've always been around wonderful people. I believe people pray for me. I believe people are praying for me.
That's
Yes,
true.
seriously. They are praying for me, and I thank God for that.
Wow.
Thank God.
Oh my God, I'm so lost for words. I'm also learning a lot, which means that we should never give up in life. Every one of us, if we are focused and if we can trust God and continue to push, definitely we're going to arrive there. And so, Doctor, you were speaking also concerning your results. You know, that was enough to discourage you from pursuing, looking at the fact that you're coming from a background that is already tough. Now, here you are trying to push, and something is discouraging you because you told this story in church. How were you able to cope? Because I know now you're a doctor, you studied so much. Your result, what was happening?
If I grew up to understand what was actually happening, and you are going somewhere, the devil want to stop you. Yes. And now when you realize that there is a force behind your success,
Yes, sir.
you need to push. You need to work harder. You don't have to give up. Yes, you don't have to give up when you now know that there is something that wants to stop you.
When you're aware.
Yes. When we grow up as adults, as at that point we're already 18, and then we know that we have to get to somewhere. And we know no one. We don't know anyone.
I know, right?
And everybody we knew was just around
At
the
your
village.
level too.
And the only thing that can actually take you far is to study. So we begin to have that. I began to have that understanding that probably academics is one of the things that will take me out there to meet people and all that and all that. So working and studying at the same time will actually help me to meet people. When I graduated and I went for my master's, I deliberately wanted to study MBA executive because at that time, only guys that are working class study MBA, executive MBA. The only way I'm able to meet with directors, managers, and all that is to go for that program. And I deliberately registered for MBA executive.
Wow.
And it connected me to a lot of people. And up to now, some of them are governors, some of them are lawmakers. Wow. It was through that program I actually met some of those guys. And I don't want to believe it was just about being intelligent. I believe that it was just God that was guiding my path.
Wow. Wow. Guys, did you hear that? Doctor just involved God in all of this, and it has made me a bit weak because some people think it's just by their grace. Some people think they are qualified for everything. But Doctor just made us to understand that God also has a role to play in our achievements. All right. So, Doctor, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I believe that people are learning. Personally, I am learning a lot. And still in line with what we are talking about, your person, your hard times and how you were able to scale through as a young man who was trying to come up. You mentioned that one time that you were working before we get to that living. You were working for a man in Abuja, and you were not on salary. Hello, guys, you were not on salary. How were you able to do that? Looking at the fact that our youth these days are so money driven, everybody just want to pick up the box. How were you able to do that?
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. You're welcome, sir.
It's going to be very difficult to convince anyone not to put money first.
Business.
It will be difficult to convince anyone, don't put money first, other thing comes first.
Okay.
Money is important in this equation. We can't take money out from this equation.
I know. Yes, sir.
And that is where we actually get it wrong, to think that you're going to work for money. There are things that are more important than money. There are things that are much more important than money. If you have the basic necessities of life, if you can get that, don't put money first. If you are working for money, you're going to miss it. If you think you're going to make money, you will miss it. Okay. Think of how you're going to help people. Yes. Think of how you're going to help, how you're going to contribute, how you're going to make impact.
Yes, sir.
That is what is going to bless you. Yes. As at the time then,
yes, sir,
sometimes there are months we're working without salary and we just keep pushing, going to work, surviving anyhow we can survive. Wherever you find food, you eat. If you don't find, you just keep going. You just keep going. And for me, to be specific, there was no time for resumption. There is no opening time. There is no closing time. Yes. My boss can call me anytime and I close anytime. Sometimes 1 a.m., 12 a.m., I'm still in the office.
Oh my God.
Yes, I'm still in the office. So that was how we're just doing it. And I built trust.
Oh.
I built trust.
So you had an aim. You were aiming at something.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
So I walked to the point that my boss trusted me with everything.
I can imagine, sir.
He can call me anytime. When he's traveling, I was not just an office person. I became a PA. Yes. I became a PA. The first time I flew, I took a flight. It was when I was working with this guy.
Guys, did you hear that?
Yes. It was when I was working with him, and we were going to Kano from Abuja. We were traveling to Kano for a job. So I went with him. So I was traveling with him everywhere at this point. Now we've gone beyond not being paid. At some point, the guy just gave me money, which is much more than salary. So at the beginning, there was nothing was happening. I was worried. I was actually scared. What am I doing? Am I doing the right thing? But everything is about time. Just give it time. Yeah. Let's not put money first. Like I said, money is important. Our aim should not be money. Yeah. If we think of how we're going to help people, how we're going to help the other person's business work, so you're also building your future at the same time.
Wow. Guys, did you hear that? Let's not put money first. Money is very important. Nobody should even confuse you about that. You need money basically for everything, but let's not put money first. Looking at what Doctor just said is what we need to learn from. You worked for a man without him paying you. You didn't think of ruining his business.
No.
Even though you were there. Some people, they'll just start stealing money everywhere. They want to close down that business.
In fact, there was a business we went for. When the guy started, as at that time, the guy was not also very
stable.
financially stable. Then he got a time came he got one of the biggest contracts in Nigeria.
Oh my God.
There was money everywhere.
Hey.
There was money everywhere. So we went to look at this job, and it was a consultancy job, and it was a turnaround strategy we're trying to do for the company. And the guys said the money they were quoting, it's not the kind of money that kind of job my boss wanted to do. But he didn't want to tell them why he was there. So when we got home, he said, look at this idiot. Can you imagine what they were saying? I said, sir, what is that? Festus, you want to do that job, just take it. You and an engineer, I don't want to call names because we are online.
Yeah.
You and an engineer, so person, talk to him. You guys should go and do that job and take the money. We started putting papers together, and that was how we got the job done. Probably one of the first consultancy job we did. And that is where we actually learned consultancy.
Oh my God.
That was where we learned. And I understand the rudiment of consultancy. It was not about money. So after a few years, I had the opportunity to travel abroad. And a year later, I registered my first company. That was in 2010, March 2010. Guys, I registered my first consultancy company. And based on the experience, I got
that same company.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Don't put money first. Wow. I don't even know what to say right now. I'm so dumbfounded looking at how far you were able to come through, through that company where there was no salary, where you were able to build trust and relationship. I'm sure you're still in touch with that man.
For sure. Yes. We're still very much. In fact, leaving him was actually difficult because I said, when I presented my case, then I said I was going to travel abroad. He said, for what? I said, I want to go for studies. He said, no, they're not going to allow me go.
Really?
Yeah. He said, they're not going to allow me go.
You're such a valuable asset.
By the grace of God, I was. And he called a meeting and he said, I told him that I'll be leaving. That if they increase my salary, probably I'll be able to stay. I said, sir, it's not about salary. It's about my future and my career. And they said, how much I should just fix my salary. The company will be ready to pay that. I said, sir, it's not about the salary. It's not about the salary. And the HR director at the time and said, okay, if Festus is going, he has someone that he can introduce into the company to take the position. The boss said, no, you cannot do that. You brought in someone years ago and the guy took us to court. Have you forgotten? He said, no, what are you talking about? So when he eventually agreed that, okay, I will travel and come back, he said, on one ground, I have to look for someone I trust that can take my position. I search everywhere. Who can I recommend to do this job? This job that you are not sure if you're going to get salary. If the salary is not coming, are you able to stay? Yeah. Are you able to stay? Can you just wake up early in the morning? The bus is going to travel maybe 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. You have to take a taxi and just go to the office. And they said your closing hour is 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. 1 a.m. You are still in the office.
Looking at the way Nigeria is.
Yes.
Nigeria is not Dubai. 4 a.m. and 8 p.m.
You are still in the office.
You are still in the office.
You know one funny thing?
Yes, sir.
When I got married, I got married on a Saturday.
Wow.
I resumed work on a Sunday. And when I resumed work, he knew that my boss knew I got married.
Of course.
Yes. He said, you can't leave your wife at home. Bring her, let her come and stay with you. I was at work. My wife was there. She sat down quietly. She was there for the whole day.
No. Say for the whole honeymoon.
For the honeymoon. Watching, running here and there, going out and coming in,
No break was given.
There was no break.
What a boss.
There was no break. There was no
Guys, let's be sincere. So many of us will not take this management. Looking at how far people prepare for marriage back home.
Yes.
Wow.
It was that interesting.
It just shows that you have a very high value for, for your work.
I do, by the grace of God.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We are so inspired, sir. We are so inspired. And I hope that everyone watching, you're learning something to see that people can be so dedicated to what they love or what they are doing without sentiment, without bias to say, because this man is not doing this, I need to make this company go down. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Sir, we have another question for you. You once mentioned also that you lived with your sister. You were living with your younger sister. Let me put the question where. In this generation, with what we are seeing online and the informations that we get from people personally, you lived with your younger sister and you were focused. You didn't have reasons to do things that that can land you in problem. Sir, how were you able to live with your sister? Look, and not just that you're a man, an African man. You know I'm a man now.
It wasn't actually my intention to live with my younger sister at the time.
I know.
And I relocated, or when I finished my youth service, I stayed where I did my service and worked for about 6 years. As at that time, I got my first master's, and I wanted to relocate.
Sorry, you were already a master degree holder?
Yes, at the time.
Okay.
All right. At the time. So I told my sister that, I've stayed enough here. I've stayed a long time here. I was actually in Bauchi State.
Oh.
Yeah, I was in Bauchi State at the time. I said, I want to come with some of my friends to Lagos. We're going to Lagos now to start a new life. I was doing a youth service in Abuja.
Oh.
Yeah.
God.
So going to Lagos, how am I going to survive? I said, like 4 or 5 of us, we just come together, stay in one room. We just start to look for a job, be hustling, whatever is going to happen, let it happen. They said, okay, how about if I come to Abuja? I said, where in Abuja? I don't know anywhere in Abuja. She said, we can stay together. I said, but you are not working. You are just a couple. Okay? So you are not working right now. She said, well, she's going to finish. When she finished, we can stay together. So, okay, I will think about it. Let's see how it goes. Eventually, that was what happened. Instead of going to Lagos, I moved to Abuja. She was in the one small room, with one tiny bed.
Ooh.
She was also a big girl.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
That house rent is very expensive.
So we were in Cuba.
Cuba is still fairly expensive.
We were in Cuba and we were in that room together. We're staying there. Yeah. We have to cope. Yes, we have to, because we don't have a choice at that time. If you want to go far, I think is a good thing to be humble.
Wow.
She also was. She's a very nice woman. She's a very nice woman. She stood for me, did everything for me. It was not easy. No job. I took advantage of that situation, and I was going to church all the time. Sometimes you can just walk in the evenings for like 30 minutes to 1 hour to get to church.
Wow.
Every time we just go to church. You're coming back, you do the same thing. As at the time you get home in the evening,
you're already exhausted.
In the morning, you go and read newspaper.
You did that stuff?
Go and stay with the vendors.
Yes,
those vendors at the junction.
At the junction.
They are just talking, arguing, and all that.
Wow.
That was what actually helped for years. Then when things turned around and I got a place, I got a job, I got a better job, I said, okay, it's now my time. So you now come and live with me. So we now started staying together.
The tables can turn. Did you hear that?
It can turn.
Wow.
It can turn. She applied to travel to abroad twice. Her visa was denied. Her visa was denied. So when I started thinking of traveling to go and study, I had this work visa that will allow you go with your family.
Independence.
Yes. Okay. So that was how I now travel. And I invited her.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
People have stories, oh. Don't you know, when we see people, we just think that, oh, maybe manna just fell from heaven and they are just having fun, they are just enjoying. But there are so many stories behind what you see. Every successful man has a story that you don't know. That's why, as we admire people, don't just admire them. Try to learn something from them. Sometimes you can go to great people and ask them about their stories. Don't just be interested in their success, because a lot has happened over time. Thank you so much, doctor.
Thank you.
And I'm happy that your stories are inspiring me personally, to know that people can still be very humble. As an African man, we never can tell who'll be watching this. So if you don't have an apartment of your own, it is possible for you to live with your younger sister, and later you will still be the one to keep her in your house. Just like what happened in the case of Doctor. Thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you so much.
Sir, also, we are so interested in the stories that you've told, because when you tell these stories, most of the time, especially when you're taking prayers in church, we just see them like, can this thing truly happen? Like the case when you were talking about you sending money back home, and then your people use the money to build a house back home. That story doesn't look true. I'm telling you, because we have stories of people who have sent money back home and their monies were misused. I'm not even talking, these ones you ask them personally, build a house for me.
I know.
Now, in your case, you didn't even ask them to do anything. You were just sending money back home.
I think I'm actually blessed. Yeah. And but it's not just about having money.
Okay.
I have people. And I have good people. I forgot there was a land there. They just bought the land and they left it. And they now called me later to say, well, people are arguing over that land. It's like they want to take that land.
I know.
Yeah, so what are they going to do with the land? I said, I don't know. You guys just decide what you want to do. They said they are going to sell the land. So they're going to look for a land somewhere. And they actually sold that land. And they said, okay, they're going to buy a land around somewhere. We need to add some money to just get a bigger land. And that was what actually happened. They sold that land. They bought another land. Then, as a family, where we're coming from, we like to support families and all that. Sometimes you just send them money and all that. Just one day, they just said, I traveled. They said, this is what is happening. They were building and they didn't even tell me. They didn't tell me.
Wow.
Yeah. So I actually cried.
No, I don't know. When you told us this story, at some point I was like, is this even possible?
It is possible. It is.
Do you know what you're talking about? You are sending money back home.
Yes, I was sending money in and they were just doing something. They didn't even let me know. They didn't tell me. So it was when I traveled, they said, well, it belongs to me. I said, thank you so much. How did it happen? They said they were just saving the money. They were keeping it and they were just, I can't explain it. Yes, I cannot explain it. It's shocking.
It's very shocking. Wow, wow. Guys, we still have good family members. That's just what doctor is trying to tell us.
Yes.
We still have a lot of good family members who have us at heart. People who wish the best for us. So we are very glad and we celebrate with you.
Thank you.
And thank God on your behalf. But sir, there are people who have gone through this same situation, and right now they don't even want to see their family members because they've been betrayed, because they've sent money for projects that were never done.
Yeah.
In this situation, looking at the fact that you are blessed with good people, what advice will you have for people like this? Since we are in the diaspora and people want to send money back home, but now they don't want to have anything to do with family members. What advice? How can you inspire them?
This is a difficult one. Like I said earlier, good people are very important in our lives. Good network, they're very important. There are friends that are closer than family members. It's good to be good.
That's true.
Yeah, there are things some family members cannot do, but there are friends that can do it. If you have been able to build that kind of network around yourself, if there is no one in the family that you can trust, there is nobody around you that you can trust, there is a problem.
Yeah.
There is no way we can go far in life without people.
That's true.
We need good people around us.
Not just people, good people.
We need good people around us. You can't be everywhere.
That's true, sir.
You cannot be everywhere.
That's true.
by the grace of God, there are people I can just call now and say, I need to do this, I need to do this. They'll just run around and get things done on my behalf. If we don't have such people, we need to grow to a point that we build that kind of solid relationship and network. Otherwise, for instance, for those in the diaspora, you're abroad and you don't trust anybody enough. For me, this is my opinion. I'm not going to ask you to just begin to send your hard-earned money to someone that will just be making, partying and enjoying with the money and not knowing what you're going through here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I won't advise you to be sending money there. Another thing is, I've spoken to a few people that are in this environment, for example, who send money back home. Okay. There are a lot of risk in sending money back home or saving money back home. First, for exchange rates.
I know. I don't even.
If there is a way we can actually save that money here, that is the first thing. Can we find a way to save the colleague who bought a property, very good property, like 2 years ago? Okay, I think he bought it for maybe about 15 to 20 million.
Okay.
In our local currency.
Yeah.
Now, evaluating that particular property now, he converted dirham to naira to buy the property.
Okay.
Now it has actually reduced in value comparatively.
I know.
It has reduced in value. As at that time, it was a good investment. Right now, it's not a good investment. Assuming you took that money from the bank here and you are paying back, how are you going to be paying it back? So if you sell that property now, you're not going to be making anything. You're making a loss. So if he had put that money into an investment here, if he saved that money will still be there. If it's in the bank, he might not be making anything, but the money is safe and secure.
Wow.
But sending that money there is a high risk. Or giving that money out to someone you don't trust is a high risk. So what I would suggest or what I would advise is to be able to build that network, trust people, and take less risk. Yeah.
Trust people. You have to surround yourself with good people, build a network. Wow. Thank you so much, sir. But while you were saying this, a thought just came to my mind about my father, he used to be a mobile worker, and daddy was paid off at one point, with all the crises that were happening in the South, they were paid off, but he was not laid off.
Yeah,
he was paid, him and his colleagues. But my father did not spend his money. He went and kept the money in the bank, future, I think in a fixed deposit and all that. And so daddy was still going to work part-time, they'll still call them. It was earning dollars. So everything was still going well. Until 2 years ago, daddy was kidnapped. And this money, over 30 million naira, was removed in his account in 2 days or 3 days. Hello, sir.
The money went like that?
Yes, the kidnappers. They went through all the bank apps and
the money was there.
They commanded the banks to open, and
otherwise something is going to happen.
They were going to end him.
That was how the money went?
I am telling, as you were talking about this bank service now, it's not part of our question, but it just came up. That was what happened. I'm telling you, this is my father I'm talking about.
If that money was in asset, it will not be easy to just move that money. Probably something would have still happened, but it will not be easy to just press an app or just transfer the money to these kidnappers. If that money was...
Nobody transferred, they use POS.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So it would not have been that easy to just move the money across.
So personally, why I'm asking this, because I'm scared right now. I don't think I'm going, with what has happened, I'm never going to be saving huge monies, in an account, because look at how my father has learned in a very hard way. I don't know. Can you help my mind, right?
I think my own practice, it might not be a good practice, but it works for me. Okay. I don't have cash. I don't have cash.
Okay.
Abroad, it's good to have something back home. A lot of people have money back home. I opened my first account in Nigeria last year.
Seriously?
Yes. I open an members, it's easy to just send money to
Absolutely, any
them. But
account.
it's not because I want to be saving money there to do anything. This is my practice. I'm not saying it is right. I'm not saying it is wrong. This is what I do, and it's working for me.
Working for you.
Yeah. For those that think people save money for obvious reasons, probably they want to use it to take care of family members.
True.
But it might not be a good idea if you are saving money for investment, or you are thinking, okay, when I go back home, I'm going to use this money. I will save the money here. I'll keep the money here. If that, yes. I better keep the money where I am.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a very high risk. I think it's better to find somewhere to put that money safe.
Yes.
And that money can also generate kind of little returns on investment. I think it's a good option.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Yeah, because you're right. In terms of, investing the money, it's a very good one because I was telling my husband some days ago, I spoke with dad, and, that was something he came up with. He was regretting. He told me, Mabel, imagine, because that money was paid in 2008.
Since then,
20, you can imagine that
how many
amount
years?
of million, the value at then. And, it just went down the drain within a couple of days. He was telling me if he had bought lands in Port Harcourt.
Exactly.
That was what he was telling me, that
the money was in the bank.
he was in the bank in that one.
Interesting.
So he was dealing with other
Oh
things.
my
He had
God.
other company accounts. He
Yeah.
was doing other things. But that one, he just left it.
Fixed deposit.
Exactly.
Waiting for retirement.
So these guys, they went through all the apps and demanded that account be opened.
That's sad.
Yeah, these are the things that we are dealing with. So, but he's fine. We thank God for everything. So, but people have to learn. People have to learn. I think what doctor is saying is invest. Do more of investment. Don't just park cash everywhere, because some people, even to take care of themselves, they cannot do that. They are taking their salaries, they are packing everything.
Exactly.
It's very sad. I don't know how people do that.
Exactly. But I don't think, again, like I said, those guys will actually think that we are fools. How can you, why not just save? It's good to save, but we must have a purpose for saving. All right, you want to save within a specific period of time, so like you can put this money together and use it to do something. Yes, that is good. To just save for the purpose of saving.
I have millions in my account.
Exactly.
I have millions in my
and the money is sleeping there.
It's just there.
It's
Once
just
they
give them
look at their
satisfaction.
app, they see, oh, my account is 5 million.
Thank you.
But sir, in conclusion, I would like you to help us, looking at this generation and the desperation at which people want to, make it now, and especially the younger ones. What advice will you give to the youth or the younger ones or people who are so desperate? Are there principles that should be followed for them to take it systematically or gradually? I don't know if you understand my question, sir.
Thank you. I do. Thank you. Whatever I'm saying is my opinion.
Yes, sir.
Yes, and opinion could be right or wrong. It can be argued. Life has a principle.
Okay.
Yes, life has a principle. And getting to somewhere, there are principles that you must follow. You cannot cut corner. Otherwise, it cannot sustain.
Wow.
You can't begin to roof a building when there is no foundation.
Oh, my God.
So if you have the foundation, whatever happens, you can fall back and stand and replicate what you've done. It's very easy to replicate. If they move you away from one environment to another environment, will you survive? First question. So I think the youths or young people, they need to have a clear-cut vision. They need to know what they're doing and how they're going to do it. They need to have a foundation. They need to be disciplined.
Wow.
They have to follow those basic principles of life or basic principles of creating wealth to get there.
Wow.
They have
So
to.
it's systematic.
It's systematic. So we have to build it. It takes time to build. And that is why where we have problem, we don't want to wait. So you want to plant today and harvest in the evening.
Patience.
It doesn't work like that. It's not sustainable. And that is why people do all kind of crazy stuff because they want to cut corners. They just want to make it now they want to make it. No, it's not sustainable.
So there are principles.
There are principles which we must follow as people. Yeah, and we need to learn those principles with time.
Oh my God. Wow. Honestly, we're going to have Dr. here back some other time.
Always
Because
available.
I know, sir. We're going to have Dr. here some other time because it's been an interesting section. And Doctor has another appointment. He's a very busy man. So, Doctor, I want to say thank you for coming through.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you
Ma. It's my
for
pleasure.
the honor. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
It's such a privilege, and we are not taking it for granted.
Thank you.
You so much. God
Thank,
bless you, sir.
Thank you so much.
So, guys, I hope you've learned. This is another section, and people will continue to tell their stories to inspire you, just so you know that you're not the only one going through stuff. You're not the only one that, he's, in that patient season of your life, in that wilderness season of your life, you have to hang it there. There are people who are successful now. There are stories that they've had. They are, they've had ups and downs. All right. So just be steadfast, hope on God, and trust God that with time, God is going to fix you and God is going to give you victory at the end. In the name of Jesus. God bless every one of you. Thank you for watching.